All right, this is the informative speech for tobacco industry of today. And this is my audience, my brother and my mom. All right, tobacco industry of today. Today I want to talk to y'all about the decline of the tobacco industry in the United States and as well as the effects it has on all of us in the future and effects of us today. Tobacco was a big part of American life until the 1970s when it became more apparent of the negative effects smoking had on people's health. This hurt many southern small towns, which as we all live in one and realize that 30, 40, 50 years ago, tobacco used to be really big. Today, not so much. And so the industry has moved more towards manufacturing and service. So, since the main industry has shifted to service and manufacturing, I will spend our time together explaining three key reasons for the decline of the industry, which are negative health problems, economic issues, and effects on Americans like me and you. So, some of the main causes are the negative health effects that go along with its use and the strict government regulations that the government imposes to help regulate its consumptions. I think everyone is well aware of the numerous negative side effects smoking has on its users, and prolonged smoking can lead to fatal health conditions, most common being lung cancer. One doesn't have to look hard, or none of us have to look hard to know someone that smokes or someone who is negatively affected by smoking or has tragically passed away because of it. As the horrible truths about tobacco use were brought into the light by scientists and the government made it publicly aware, many state governments stepped in to help steer the nation away from this bad habit. Some corporations, no, many states ban smoking in all public buildings and restaurants, and this encouraged private sector businesses and manufacturers, companies to ban it on their premises, whether it be outside or inside. So completely banned on property whatsoever. It's safe to bet that many of us, wherever we go, see no smoking signs and the windows at cash registers and wherever you go to work, to go eat, or anywhere. These restrictions are meant to discourage people from smoking, and judged by the declining smoking rate, they have been effective. So another factor that plays into aid are two key principles of economics. One of the key 10 principles of macroeconomics is that people like you and me face incentives that encourage us to do certain behaviors. The government tries to discourage us from the bad behavior of smoking through laws and regulations on its use, where you can't do it here, or you can't purchase it at a certain age. We're all aware of human nature, however, and when you tell someone they shouldn't do something, 9 times out of 10, they go and do it. So, regardless of its restrictions and negative health effects, people still choose to smoke and don't plan on quitting. Their incentive is the pleasure they have from smoking and assume it's worth the extra money and the risk to their health. This leads to another key principle of one of the key 10 principles of macroeconomics, and that is people face trade-offs. People who decide to smoke feel that it is worth trading the money and the risk of all the possible bad health effects is worth the pleasure they get from smoking. But as more Americans are realizing that this trade-off is absolutely not worth it and it is not in their favor, they are quitting to save money and save their health. Effects take place. So as a result of this, more people quitting, this results in effects on people like us, or who, if anyone in this audience today doesn't smoke, it affects people like us regardless of whether we use tobacco products or not. One of the good things that results is from the decline of tobacco production, a greater variety of crops is grown in you and I's local area. Smaller farmers are moving away from the once highly profitable tobacco cash crop to various produce items. Here in our own state of North Carolina, in our local area, Granville County, many farmers are beginning to grow sweet potatoes, strawberries, cucumbers, tomatoes, etc. This results in a greater selection of local produce at much better prices because it is not being shipped from out of state to our various local areas around here. Again, this creates in a much wider selection, better prices, so good, all good things. But as you all know, for every pro there is a con. So the government, hold on a minute. But as you all know, for every pro there is a con, and there's one that will affect every single one of us, again, regardless of whether you use tobacco products or not. The tobacco industry provides the government with a very large amount of tax revenue. According to Statistica.com, which to cite it uses over 22,500 sources to show it's a reputable site, the government collects $13.67 billion in taxes on tobacco just in 2018. But if you look, this revenue has decreased every year since 20, 30 years ago, and it is projected to decrease at an alarming rate on into 2025, 2030. This revenue decreases every year as tobacco use declines, so there's no interaction of money for the government to tax. This revenue, so this loss in revenue will mean taxes will have to increase on other things so the government can make up for this decrease. So that means people like you and us will see increased taxes probably on gasoline, the new produce that will probably end up getting taxed as well. Various other products that are grown or produced here end up having to be taxed to make up for this loss. Many people believe, though, that the answer is making marijuana legal, and how some states are already doing this. It is successful. It is likely it'll be a long time for all 50 states are on board with this idea. In conclusion, it is hard to say whether tobacco will completely disappear in the future, but due to people's tendency to smoke and the potential loss for the government, so they won't push non-smoking too hard because they realize the loss. So it is safe to say that we won't see it disappear for a very long time. There are many negative health effects that occur due to the industry's decline, but for every bad thing, something good does happen. And the increase in fresh, locally grown produce. I'm sure many of you can appreciate this. But I hope I've helped to enlighten you good people more on the decline of the tobacco industry in America and what its effects are on you and me. I urge any smokers here today to take a closer look at what the real costs of smoking are, and are they really worth it. So I can say that tobacco has had a long, rich history in this country and will be affecting citizens like you and I for a very long time to come. Thank you.